King George I, the German stranger who saved a dynasty. A reign of stability amid shadows. A 54-year-old German prince, who barely speaks English, lands on British shores to claim a throne he never expected. Over 50 Catholics with stronger blood claims are bypassed by Parliament's ironclad Act of Settlement. He arrives not as a conquering hero, but as a Protestant safeguard against chaos. Mocked as German George, accused of caring more for his Hanoverian homeland than his new kingdom, he brings 2 mistresses and a locked chest rumored to hold his imprisoned wife. Yet this outsider, King George III, 1714–1727, becomes the unlikely founder of the Hanoverian dynasty, steering Britain through rebellion, financial catastrophe, and political transformation. His 13-year reign marks the dawn of the Georgian era, the rise of the Prime Minister, Whig supremacy, cultural patronage, and the quiet shift toward modern constitutional monarchy. But beneath the stability lies personal tragedy, court intrigue, and a nation grappling with a foreign king. This is the story of George I, the stranger who secured Britain's future, even as he longed for home. Born Georg Ludwig on May 28, 1660, in Osnabrück, Hanover, George was the eldest son of Ernest Augustus, Elector of Hanover, and Sophia of the Palatinate, granddaughter of England's King James I. His childhood unfolded amid the glittering Baroque courts of the Holy Roman Empire, where family ambition intertwined with European power struggles. Young George proved a capable soldier. In the War of the Spanish Succession, 1701–1714, he fought valiantly alongside the Duke of Marlborough against Louis XIV's France, earning respect for his bravery at battles like Oudenarde. By 1698, he had inherited the electorate of Hanover, transforming it into a prosperous, well-administered state. But his personal life was marred by scandal. In 1682, for political gain, he married his cousin Sophia Dorothea of Celle, uniting 2 branches of the Brunswick-Lüneburg family and securing a rich dowry. The marriage was disastrous, passionate arguments, mutual disdain. They had 2 children, George Augustus, future George II, in 1683, and Sophia Dorothea in 1687. George openly took mistresses, including the loyal Melusine von der Schulenburg, later Duchess of Kendal, and Sophia Charlotte von Kielmansegg, later Countess of Darlington. Sophia Dorothea, isolated and unhappy, found solace in Swedish Count Philip Christoph von Königsmarck. Their affair ended in tragedy. Königsmarck disappeared in 1694, widely believed murdered on George's orders. Sophia Dorothea was divorced, imprisoned in Alden Castle for 32 years until her death in 1726, never seeing her children again. This dark chapter haunted George, souring his relationship with his son, who idolized his absent mother. The path to the British throne opened through the 1701 Act of Settlement, ensuring Protestant succession after Queen Anne's childless death. George's mother Sophia was next in line, but she died weeks before Anne in 1714. On August 1, 1714, George became King George I of Great Britain and Ireland. He arrived in England on September 18, 1714, greeted with curiosity and suspicion. His coronation on October 20th was grand, but marred by riots from Tory and Jacobite supporters shouting, "High Church and Ormond." George's accession ignited fury among Jacobites, supporters of the exiled Stuart claimant, James Francis Edward, the Old Pretender. Tories, fearing Whig dominance and Anglican erosion, rallied to the Catholic cause. In September 1715, John Erskine, Earl of Mar, raised the Stuart standard at Braemar, sparking the largest Jacobite rising yet. Thousands flocked in Scotland. In England, risings erupted in Northumberland and the West Country. George acted decisively, suspending habeas corpus and mobilizing forces. The main Scottish army, led by Mar, clashed with government troops under the Duke of Argyll at the indecisive Battle of Sheriffmuir on November 13, 1715. Meanwhile, a Jacobite force in England surrendered at Preston. The Old Pretender landed briefly in December, but fled without inspiring victory. By February 1716, the rebellion collapsed. Leaders like the Earls of Derwentwater and Nithsdale faced execution or exile. Many rank and file were transported. The 15 solidified Whig power. George repealed restrictions on leaving Britain, visiting Hanover frequently. 1716, 1719, 1720, 1723, 1725, 1727, spending nearly a fifth of his reign there. Parliament passed the Septennial Act in 1716, extending elections to 7 years, entrenching Whig control. George's court blended German formality with British tradition. He spoke little English, conducting cabinet meetings in French or Latin. His mistresses wielded influence, slim Melusine for diplomacy, plump Kielmansegg for patronage. Yet, George patronized the arts lavishly. He supported George Friedrich Handel, commissioning the water music for a 1717 Thames barge procession. In 1719, he backed the Royal Academy of Music, fostering opera's golden age. Hanover shaped foreign policy. George prioritized continental alliances, clashing with isolationist ministers. The 1718 Quadruple Alliance opposed Spanish aggression. Later treaties balanced Austria and France. At home, George quarreled bitterly with his son, Prince George Augustus, mirroring his own marital strife. In 1717, after a christening dispute, the prince was banished from court, setting up rival Leicester House. Herrenhausen Gardens in Hanover remained George's true passion. Lavish Baroque splendor he replicated partially in Britain. The 1720 South Sea Bubble became George's greatest crisis. The South Sea Company, chartered in 1711 for South American trade and slave trading, proposed absorbing national debt in exchange for shares. Royal endorsement, George as governor from 1718, fueled mania. Shares soared from $128 in January to over $1,000 in August. Frenzy gripped London. Investors from nobility to servants poured in fortunes. Bubble companies proliferated until the Bubble Act curbed them. Then collapse. By December, shares plummeted to 124s. Thousands ruined. Suicides surged. Corruption exposed. Ministers bribed with stock. Enter Robert Walpole, the Norfolk squire turned financial wizard. As paymaster, he had warned against the scheme. Now, as chancellor, he masterminded rescue, rescheduling debt, compensating victims. His skill earned trust. By 1721, he was First Lord of the Treasury, Britain's first de facto prime minister. Walpole dominated the reign's latter half, forging cabinet government, patronage networks, and peace policies. Whigs purged Tories. Stability returned. Jacobitism lingered. The 1719 rising, Spanish-backed, fizzled at Glenshiel. In 1722, the Atterbury plot, led by Bishop Francis Atterbury, aimed to overthrow George. Exposed, Atterbury exiled, conspirators punished. George's health waned. Obesity, gout. He delegated more to Walpole, pursuing science, smallpox inoculation patron, and gardening. In 1727, en route to Hanover, George suffered a stroke near Osnabrück. He died June 11th at his brother's palace, aged 67, echoing his father's death. George I, the foreign elector mocked in ballads, left an indelible mark. He crushed Jacobitism's early threats, ensuring Protestant Hanoverian succession. Under him, parliamentary government flourished. Walpole's era birthed prime ministerial power, cabinet collective responsibility. Britain emerged stable, prosperous, culturally vibrant. No civil war scarred his reign. Transitions remained peaceful. Yet personal shadows lingered. Imprisoned wife, estranged son, absent homeland love. George was buried in Hanover's Lena Castle, per his wish, heart forever German. But his dynasty endured. From reluctant stranger rose a line ruling Britain until 1901, shaping the modern monarchy. George III didn't conquer hearts, but he secured a throne, and in doing so, forged the foundation of Georgian greatness. In an age of upheaval, he provided the quiet strength Britain needed, the outsider who became indispensable. Fade to portraits of George I, Walpole, Handel scores, and the enduring Union Jack. The end